Nakedde ku maliri nenkandagga olugendo ndi ku kkubo obweddanyi.
If I had to describe Uganda in one word, the word would be rich. Rich in culture, rich in resources, rich in color, rich in opportunities, and most notably, rich in human potential. However, it's also a country of great disparities between rich and poor, which is what brought me here to begin with. The Oikocredit study tour was my first trip to Uganda and the continent of Africa, and my stay began late in the evening of Friday, February the 26th, 2010. The 31-kilometer trip to Kampala took us over 1 hour due to the poor road conditions, which we learned is the norm in Uganda. We finally arrived at our temporary home, Hotel Metropole, just after midnight on February the 27th. More tour delegates arrived throughout the following day. Early Sunday evening, we met in the hotel lounge for an informal gathering. 12 delegates were pre-assigned to one of 3 groups. Each group would tour a specific district of Uganda, and each group member had a task. As a member of Group 1, which traveled 300 kilometers west to Fort Portal, I was to video the Group 1 activities. Other delegates were Marian van Lubeck from Oikocredit the Netherlands, who is one of our writers and PowerPoint presenters. Matthias Lennart, manager of Oikocredit's Frankfurt branch, was also a writer, and Linda Yankee, a fundraiser from Oikocredit Germany, was our photographer. Also in our group was Blanca Mendez, Corporate Communications Officer, Oikocredit International, the Netherlands. Our first formal visit was to Oikocredit Uganda in downtown Kampala on the morning of Monday, March 2nd. After a brief tour of their modest but modern offices, we were escorted to the boardroom where formal introductions were made. In addition to the delegates and local Oikocredit staff, the meeting was attended by Judy Ngorashu, Oikocredit Regional Director for East Africa and a member of Group 1. Our host, Edith Tusubira, Country Manager of Uganda, who joined Group 2, and Carolyn Mowa, Country Manager of Kenya, who accompanied Group 3. Also present were 2 Oikocredit Uganda project officers, Jessica Ejiku, Group 1's organizer and babysitter, and Peter Kabanda, who accompanied Group 2. After a delicious lunch and saying our goodbyes, we headed to Mednet Kampala, the first of 3 microfinance institutions, or MFIs, we were to visit. On the way to Mednet, I talked with our driver Kamanzi, and there was an instant bond. As Kamanzi talked about his life, my intrigue and respect for this man grew. Against tremendous odds, including the loss of 2 wives to breast cancer, he emerged as a struggling but successful businessman with the help of microloans. He consented to an impromptu interview. Kamanzi is a 41-year-old businessman who is Group 1's main driver during the tour. He and his wife Agatha support 4 children and are expecting a 5th. All of their school-aged children attend school. Kamanzi began using microloans in 2001 to supplement his salary so he could cover school fees for his children. He finally determined his manager's salary would not meet his income requirements and started his own tour business with a 2-wheel drive van. He soon realized he would need a 4-wheel drive vehicle to withstand Uganda's terrible road conditions, and in 2009 secured a microloan for $5,000 to buy a new van. As most of the company's activities involve traveling, Agatha is also a director of the company and manages the administrative and secretarial duties while Kamanzi is away. Between the 2 of them, they have built a successful business through hard work, perseverance, and from our experience, a high quality of client service. Kamanzi told me he would not have had the opportunity to start his business without the microloans, as conventional banks require collateral which he did not have at the time. He said microloans are the backbone of his business at this stage of his growth. Kamanzi gave me a list of his plans in order of priority. His number 1 priority is that all of his children become educated. Second, he wishes to strengthen his client base and improve his fleet with additional vehicles. And finally, he also plans to build rental houses to provide for his retirement income. In my opinion, this honorable man is well on his way to fulfilling his plans. We arrived at MedNet, the first microfinance institution, or MFI, on our visit, at mid-afternoon in the midst of heavy rainfall. After a brief tour of the facilities, we met in the boardroom with MedNet officials to learn more about their operation. Micro Enterprise Development Network, or MedNet, is a microfinance affiliate of World Vision Uganda. MedNet began credit operations in June of 1998 and targets the economically active poor in areas where World Vision operates. In December 2004, Oikocredit approved a loan of 1.8 billion Uganda shillings, or $900,000, with a 5-year term. MedNet used this to expand their loan portfolio. MedNet offers a variety of products and services. These range from loans to individuals within a group, to community banks, and microinsurance. They also offer business training, and recipients of any group loans are provided with training in business management. MedNet is also involved with non-financial activities such as integrating health programs concerned with HIV/AIDS, malaria, and nutrition. In addition to its work on health issues, MedNet also links with other agencies, such as the National Agriculture Advisory Services. About 60% of MedNet's clients are women, typically 18 to 65 years of age with modest or no literacy and incomes of less than $300 per year. After our meeting with MedNet, we proceeded to the first of 2 interviews with MedNet clients. Betty is an industrious 30-year-old woman. She and her husband, a mechanic, support their 2 children and Betty's orphaned niece in a rented room adjacent to Betty's salon. Betty started her salon in 1995 with 2 fawns or hair dryers, 1 mirror, and less than $200. She now has 2 full-time employees and 2 student trainees. In 2008, a decision to build their own home put a strain on the family income. Betty qualified for a microloan of $500 for a 6-month term, which she used to add bridal services to her business. In January 2010, she used a second loan of $750 for a 10-month term to fund further expansion of the salon and services. Betty also deposits $50 monthly to a bank savings account. We asked Betty if she ever felt stressed when receiving a loan.
No, I've always been able to pay back accordingly.
When they move into their new home, Betty plans to extend her salon into their former living quarters and expand her services to include manicures, pedicures, and other beauty treatments, and a barbershop. My lasting impression of Betty is that she will achieve whatever she puts her mind to. Brave is an ambitious 34-year-old medical doctor with a wife and 3-year-old daughter. Like all of the clients we met, he is a true entrepreneur who said he prefers to be a job creator rather than a job seeker. In 2005, Brave started his clinic with 1 small room and 1 employee. His first loan from MedNet in 2008 was for $2,500 with a 6-month payback term, which he used to purchase equipment and expand the clinic's services. Since then, he has received 4 more microloans of $2,500, most of which he paid off early to reduce interest expenses. Today, Mukama Clinic employs 12 people, including Brave, and sees an average of 1,000 patients each month. The clinic now occupies 2 floors of a commercial building and is equipped with an ultrasound scanner, laboratory, pharmacy, and dental office. In addition, Brave opened another 24-hour 10-bed clinic in 2008, which operates independently of the medical dental clinic. We asked Brave if he was able to obtain a loan from a commercial bank.
I can't get a loan from the commercial bank because they're looking at a medical business as a charity organization. So they think it's a risk to give a loan to a medical business because anytime you're treating people free of charge, someone comes in, is very sick, according to the laws of Uganda, you're supposed to treat whether the person has money or not.
Brave has ambitious plans for his future, including establishment of a health insurance program and a hospital within 10 years. I expect to hear more about this enterprising young man in the future. The next morning, we set out for a long drive to Fort Portal, a market town of about 48,000 people, located 311 kilometers west of Kampala, near the Congo border. 7 hours later, we arrived at the office of the second MFI, Hofakam. We met with local staff to discuss Hofakam's activities in Uganda. Following our meeting at Hofakam's office, we interviewed 4 of their Village Bank clients and 3 individual clients. Our first Hofakam client interview was with Mr. and Mrs. Moses Kujo. Their successful mixed farming business includes a piggery, goats, dairy cattle, and banana plantation. Their operation supports 8 children, 4 of their own and 4 orphans, and their firstborn will be starting university this year. Mr. and Mrs. Kujo were typical peasants when they began commercial farming in 2000 with 1 pig. They qualified for a $250 microloan from Hofakam in 2006, with which they bought feed for their 30 pigs and built new sheds. Hofakam officer Winfred Tumwasiji, we'll call her Winnie from now on, also taught them how to keep proper records and develop a formal business plan, which they proudly displayed during our visit. The business thrived and they qualified for 3 more loans between 2007 and 2009. These loans financed the purchase of more land, infrastructure improvements, and maintenance. They now own 120 pigs, 15 goats, poultry, and a young cow named Ngabu, which means black and white. They grow bananas and beans on their 5-acre farm and employ 2 full-time employees and 4 casual laborers. Gross annual revenues of about $13,000 allow the couple to fund their children's education, save for emergencies, and sustain a relatively comfortable lifestyle. Mr. and Mrs. Kujo plan to purchase a vehicle in 2011 for transporting their agricultural products to local markets. They also intend to expand the piggery to 300 pigs, purchase 2 more cows, and start hen breeding with up to 2,000 birds. We were quite impressed by how well this couple worked together as a team and by what they were able to accomplish in such a short time.
Abantu ab'oluganda ekisinga kwagalana.
A village bank is a group of 10 to 20 people from 1 or more villages. Most members are elderly women who lost 1 or more adult children and now care for their orphaned grandchildren. To meet the challenges of supporting these children, they organize into cooperative groups. These co-ops are more attractive to MFIs as a single loan spread among several members is less risky and less expensive to underwrite than several tiny loans. Also, if a member defaults, the other members must make up the loss. This ensures the members will be selective about the members they allow into the group. To qualify, a village bank must start a communal saving account at the local bank and complete a 4-week training course in financial management. A maximum loan of 5 times their saving amount is divided among the group according to each member's saving balance. Each loan requires fees of 1% each for insurance and stationery. Members meet every 2 weeks to record and entrust their savings with the chairperson, who then deposits the funds with the bank. Loans are normally for 6-month terms and are repaid in monthly installments.
Nange naganza munange ansuza nkulungutana. Naganza munange ansuza nkulungutana.
The name Abakaikuru Nenthuuzi translates to elderly women and orphans. Although of the 16 members, there are a few men, which is typical of village bank groups. The group has been with Hofakam since 2006 and are on their 7th loan. They have a communal saving account of $965, which qualifies them for a loan of nearly $5,000. During our visit, the members met with the chairperson to deposit and record their bi-weekly savings, a total of $6. After the meeting, we were invited to one of their homes, a simple mud building. We enjoyed a healthy lunch of bananas, groundnuts, milk, and cacao proudly displayed on a small dining table. Before leaving these quiet and generous people, we visited their small roadside kiosk where they sell fruit, vegetables, and beautiful hand-woven baskets, much of which came home with us. Goretti lives in the Cabaroli district with her 4 children and her granddaughter, whom she raised and educated on her own. Goretti operates a small mixed farming operation growing maize, beans, bananas, and rearing cows, and she also owns and operates the village bar. Since 2006, Goretti has taken out 5 microloans with Hofakam. The first loan of $150 she used to rent land to grow her crops. The second loan was invested in her agricultural business, and with her third loan of $360, she bought the local brew called Kumboti to sell at the main road markets. She also moved into a better house and started a banana plantation. In 2009, with a fourth loan of $500, Goretti opened a small bar in the village and produced enough income to send her daughter to school. Since then, she no longer sells at road markets. Her clients now come to her. She employs local labor to plant her crops, which has increased employment opportunities in the community. Her loan officer, Winnie, said Goretti was shy, desperate, and malnourished when she joined Hofakam, but with each loan her strength and her confidence grew. This showed during a visit when she gently but firmly escorted 2 slightly inebriated gentlemen from the premises. Goretti has obviously earned the trust and respect of her fellow villagers who elected her as their village secretary. We asked her if she still feels nervous about taking out these loans.
When I received my first loan, I felt afraid. But now, with my 5th loan, I feel much more comfortable because I have money at the bank.
Goretti plans to continue to increase the potential of her mixed farming and bar businesses. She may add goats to her livestock inventory and buy a TV screen for the bar, which would require solar panels. We found Goretti to be an inspiring woman who commands respect. She was, in a word, courageous. Cease is a 34-year-old married businesswoman with 4 children, all attending school. They live in a tidy house in an orderly rural neighborhood. Cease built a successful enterprise by anyone's standards, from a couple of piglets and agricultural crops to a thriving mixed farming operation today. This includes a 10-pig piggery, an orchard, and plantations of beans, bananas, maize, Irish potatoes, and groundnuts. She also raises poultry and sells eggs. Her full-time employee Alex gave me the grand tour of Cease's farm. In 2006, Cease used her first microloan from Hofakam to buy a solar panel and replaced the traditional paraffin lamps in her house with modern lighting. With the excess energy produced from the solar panel, she charges up to 20 cell phones per day for a fee. Cease also has a party supply business that rents items to local events. With her last microloan, Cease built a large water tank to store rainwater for her household and farming needs. Cease wants to buy a second solar panel to expand her cell phone charging business and to run a big screen TV to broadcast major sports events for a fee. Finally, she wants to buy her own pickup truck to reduce her transportation costs. If Cease isn't president of Uganda within 10 years, I'll be amazed. The following evening, we returned to the Hotel Metropole after an exhausting 11.5-hour drive from Fort Portal. Our final MFI visit was to Opportunity Uganda at the Owino Market in Kampala. Opportunity Uganda began in 1995 and offers microloans, savings, and insurance products. After a brief informal visit to Opportunity Uganda, we slowly made our way through the bustling Owino Market to our final scheduled interview with Rosemary Ngadya. Rosemary is a pleasant, hard-working 56-year-old who sells produce in the Owino Market. She has 6 children, some of whom live with her, and she helps support her 7 grandchildren. She is separated from her husband and rents her home. Rosemary's unassuming appearance was deceiving. She bought her own stall at the market in 1963 and took her first microloan of $105 in 1999 to buy stock and increase her sales. Subsequent loans allowed her to expand and diversify her business operations and to increase her revenue. She has a current loan of $1,250 repayable over 2 years. Rosemary also has a few other irons in the fire. She now owns a small piggery and 2 dairy cows, and she's in the process of building a new home with rental rooms. Rosemary would like to buy more land to expand her piggery. She also wants to complete her house to eliminate her rental cost and generate revenue from tenants. Rosemary may give Cease a run for her money in that presidential race. On Sunday, March 7th, we had our closing meeting at the Hotel Metropole. Each group submitted a PowerPoint presentation of their findings. This was followed by a critical discussion of the pros and cons of microlending and recommendations for product improvements. We then exchanged gifts and said our goodbyes to our Oikocredit hosts. This brought an end to our 8 days in Uganda and a beginning to new friendships and rewarding ventures. Microloans offer return on investment, but their impact cannot be measured in dollars alone. Loan recipients and the world overall benefit from the elevation of human dignity and potential. As the saying goes, a rising tide raises all boats. If eradication of poverty through sustainable, successful means fits your philosophy, I encourage you to support entrepreneurs in other parts of the world through microfinance. Your choice will change lives.
She was born like you and I, yet living like none of us. Oh, oh, oh. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Whoa, 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 whoa. She's afraid of us, afraid of coming to us, afraid of smiling. Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, oh. Salala, salala, oh. Salala, 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 ma. Oh yeah, yeah, say. Salala, 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 ma. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, aye. Salala, 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 ma. Salala, 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 ma.